Hello everybody and welcome back to the NLC Division 2. We're getting ready to go into our final game. Apologies about the slightly longer break coming into this game. A couple of players on the side of London United are currently having to kind of set themselves up as things that they're not actually at their current setups, hence why we're a bit of a longer setup, but we are getting ready to go in to this fifth and final game of the day. I think the important thing about this game is both teams are 3-8, and with Guap winning versus Lightside in the second game of the day, now it means for our teams, whoever loses this game is locked into bottom at the end of the Super Week.
Yeah, they are locked into bottom moving forward for until next week, basically, which is already technically Tuesday, Super Week, or on Saturday. So yeah, losing here is going to feel especially bad because Guap were able to take another win off of Lightside. And more specifically, just because you are truly at the bottom. You can only look up, and continuing to lose in that situation is going to just feel terrible. And you don't really want to be in a kind of position where you have to not only climb, to at the very least equal your opponents directly above you, but then have to get above them because you're always going to be looking at two teams that are tied until I think they still have to play each other yet again. Guap, Lucent, London.
Well, we are on to the champ select. We've had the Renata, the Aatrox, and the Poppy band away so far. See what London's next band is going to be. Curious to see, that Poppy is an interesting one. It's obviously a bit of a target band. I know DBL plays it as well, but so does Dandom as well.
Jake, it's okay. You haven't been here. Dandom, new Lucent jungler.
No, but I will say I definitely seen DBL put this up. This is like very.
Well, and I said this actually when Dandom came into this roster. I said, funnily enough, even though Dandom is like the big Poppy player, DBL, his name literally stands for Death by Lollipops, as in the lollipop spooky skin that the Poppy has. Anyway, moving away from that back towards the draft, Seraphine was the final ban for Lucent, and on the London United side, Callista and Corki. So thank goodness we won't be seeing that on the Rift. So
I know Azir is open.
They pick up the volley back, but the problem is the Azir is open. Don't scare me, man. Viego will be there, the immediate answer, and then Karma as well. So from the get-go, two early proactive junglers and a utility support on the side of London United. Whether or not, of course, the Karma ends up in the support role with Buzzy or towards solo lanes, we'll have to see. Things to track, of course. Beartree, a name who people may be familiar with from UKLC of many years ago. The old top laner for, I believe it was Phelan and one other team. I can't remember what the other team was. I'm pretty sure Phelan was at the very least one of them.
We're talking the first couple of seasons of UKLC.
Yeah, UKLC 2019 kind
of
thing.
The bedroom. When we're in the bedroom, Bedroom
studio, yeah. But Lucent, what did they do? They respond with Ahri plus the Gragas. So Gragas, safe side top for DBL. Dandom locks in the Ahri for Kurosh, and that's going to be immediately answered by Super Big Fun's Camille. So that matchup should, in theory, be like kind of Gragas favored early on. Eventually, Camille will just kind of become Camille, and she should be able to kind of out pressure the Gragas. Now, what I don't know is the scaling between AP Gragas and Camille, because obviously you will sacrifice a whole bunch of tank stats, which Camille kind of ignores anyway through the precision protocol, the Q, to basically chunk you out for Cho'Gath elements on a 4-second cooldown. So having more burst damage available and kind of, tradably roughly the same HP could be pretty beneficial. So we'll see how that one works out. London United now, though, removing away Lulu, trying to ensure that Fuyu doesn't get some kind of Kog'Maw Lulu or, hyper carry plus Lulu in his back pocket. One thing to note at the moment, though, is that Yuumi is available, and so is Zeri. So Lucent could very well snap that one up in the same rotation if either or isn't banned away from
not happening.
Not going to allow that to happen, and I expect one of Rusty Sniper's AD carries will be removed away. I think maybe something like the Misfortune ban towards him wouldn't be too bad, but they're just going to take the center off the table as they don't fancy piloting it, and they don't want to have to deal with the potential, center Karma flex until the Karma has to be revealed.
Alrighty, well, let's see what the next pickup is going to be here for the side of London. Expecting probably just to be that AD carry or support, I guess, but I feel like the AD carry is probably the better pickup here. Looks like they're going for the Zeri.
Zeri's up, and I think also being able to hold on to your Karma Flex is a little more valuable now.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fuyu has played this plenty of times into the Zeri, and we've also seen, funnily enough, it started to sort of rise in sort of, I won't say priority, but in favor into the Zeri, but we're going to get a last second swap over to Nautilus and Kai'Sa, which is definitely very, very interesting as well. A lot more burst damage. One thing I will say is Lucent, despite, yes, of course, having, you know, Kai'Sa, who will be building AD, and Volibear, who deals a lot of physical damage, a lot of magic damage is prominent on that Lucent lineup. And no magic bundles are just going to go a really long way in sort of suppressing a fair amount of the damage that is going to be available to Lucent. But what does LDN United want to do? They're hovering the Braum, and honestly, of course, for matchup into Nautilus, it just makes Nautilus' job a whole lot harder. And because of the sort of linear and limited-ish engage that Lucent have, someone like a Glacial Fissure from Braum can really help to shut down a lot of the ways that Lucent are going to look to play these team fights out. And with that Braum lock in, that does mean, of course, we are going to get the Karma in the mid lane, which should just be kind of used as a bit of a priority tool into the Ahri and more of a sort of utility bot moving forward as we expect to see the Zeri and the Camille start to scale up into the game.
Well, I'm interested by this because I like the Nautilus with the Kai'Sa. Just obviously, it's very standard pickup, but I like it specifically into the Zeri. Obviously, Zeri, very hard champion to catch. She's very quick, but you know, if a bit of CC or an auto is landed from the Kai'Sa, she can follow up. She can look to blow her up. And I'll say this much: Kai'Sa's going to do a lot more in a 1v1 versus the Zeri. Zeri kind of wants to ramp up in a fight. Kai'Sa can kind of blow you up pretty quickly. Also, that point-and-click lockdown from Little Pants on the Nautilus, very, very nice for them on that front. But I'm curious to see how the Zeri does with the Braum, because this is a duo I don't think I've actually seen together, so I'm curious how this goes.
It pops up every now and again because teams have started to pick Nautilus into Zeri to have the point and click to start a CC chain into her. So Braum is starting to come back in as, you know, the very standard Nautilus answer. So Zeri plus Braum has been showing up a little bit, and it works pretty fine. Of course, you have to remember that the Zeri Q also applies concussive blows, so it's very easy to get that one stacked up like normal as is. So again, you know, if Lucent go in a little bit too overeager, maybe they just overstep, underestimate that Braum passive, then they can get caught out in an extended trade. But for, you know, the bot side, it's about those burst trades, you know, hook, whoa, W landing from the Kai'Sa, hopefully, and you just get a really quick plasma stack. And if the lethal looks there, just commit to the play. But we'll see what exactly can get done from that bot side of the map. Definitely very interesting matchup to sort of dissect. I feel like a lot of this game should be relatively preordained, which is a pretty big word for boring, because I feel like everything should be relatively telegraphed, unfortunately. That doesn't mean that we'll have an entirety of a boring game, but what I am saying is, if these guys play it right, you've got a bottom side of the map which should be neutralized out by London United side, a mid lane which is basically just kind of a wave clear slash like priority battle, and then top lane is like the only place where I expect there to potentially be blood spilled, because I feel like anytime I've seen Camille and Gragas, you're like, okay, Camille doesn't necessarily have like the strongest early lane per se in terms of like all-in threat to tanks, which Gragas kind of operates as, but Gragas has so much burst damage in his own right that I feel like a lot of the time top laners just kind of underestimate on the opposite end of the Gragas matchup whether or not they're in lethal range. So we'll see. Has gone for the first strike as well, not gone for the grasp, not trying to trade autos with the Camille. I think that makes a whole bunch of sense. Some other rune choices we see, Phase Rush come into effect as well in that matchup sometimes. But we'll see as we're in Summoners for the final game of the day.
Yeah, we're kicking it off here. Do expect to see probably a little bit of, you know, I'm expecting pretty explosive team fights when we actually get to them from these comps, you know. AD carries who are obviously, you know, a bit more traditional in the sense where, you know, they are hyper carries. They can carry the team fights, but you got the engage and disengage supports. And, you know, I feel Lucent have more engaged tools. London kind of want Lucent to run into them. I don't think London are going to do a particularly good job of starting these fights up.
Yeah, I think London, they're only really working with like Camille hookshot, and then follow-up has to come through from like Buzzy getting involved and kind of diving in, and that's not necessarily the role he wants to play. He wants to ensure that he's dissuading any kind of engages from Lucent. So I definitely do look towards Lucent in terms of the team that should in theory have a lot more agency for finding those engages, a little more urgency in their play perhaps is what we'll end up seeing, and trying to find and maybe even force some of those plays out. London United definitely a little bit more in the earlier stages about cutting back, right? Braum, Zeri, perfect to doing that. Karma enables, you know, either gameplay, right? Moving forward, moving backwards. And Viego is more than happy having champions come into him, because that just means he gets to deal his damage out a little more freely than having to chase down as Little Pants. That is a range creep.
That is so sad. That is so sad. Well, you do see that Lucent have got themselves the pressure in this lane for now. They are Feeling pretty comfortable on that front. A super big fun. It's making sure that Death by Lollipops is not having super big fun in the top lane.
All right, I'm gonna limit you to one more of those puns because I've also done it, and I think it's a bit boring as well.
Well, here's the thing about me. I
yeah.
don't find jokes get old. Not when I'm making them. It's dad humor, isn't it? Where you just continuously say the same joke over and over again.
I reckon you'd be a good dad, mate.
I completely disagree, but I'd make good jokes and I'd be embarrassing, so I guess I get that side of it down.
Yeah, you've got that side down. The responsibilities, I don't know. I've seen you do some stuff.
I can't look after myself, mate. I am not going to look after a human life. That is just a terrible idea. Do you want?
Sorry,
do you want?
I'd be real with that. Yeah.
Do you want my dad's joke? It's a good one.
Okay.
This is the one my dad always says. So there was an inflatable boy who went to an inflatable school, and he had inflatable teachers and friends. One day he brought a pin in. Do you know what the headmaster said? You've let me down. You've let the school down. You let yourself down.
Can I go early? Do I still get my pay if I just hit X now? Have I fulfilled enough work? That's kind of too. The worst part is I've met your dad and he's a very lovely bloke.
Yeah, but he does make those kind of jokes. But that's lovely, yeah. But he just makes bad jokes. Oh, invade coming in. Not gonna. Rusty Sniper sniped the blue buff, and now looking for the hook on to Buzzy. If that W hit, Buzzy was dead. He was hooked out of Fuyu's W. That was so close.
You know, I actually think he would have just about made it out because he leveled up. I think because he managed to make it back into XP range. I think even if that W had hit, was aimed a little bit differently, I think he would have just about creeped out with a sliver of health, which he did anyway, but very crucial. London United defend the invade, and now Rusty has blue buff, so he can press the one spell that actually costs mana, which isn't his Q a little more frequently.
Actually, one of the worst champions to get blue buff, actually.
Does Q even cost? I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
No, it's free. It's auto attack.
Q's free. It's basically all attacks. E probably does have a mana cost, and I know R does, right? Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
But, so blue buff kind of, it's not like you just gave blue buff to an Ari or a Karma who can just shove their wave in freely now with that and get you.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Yasuo levels of blue buff here. Although Yasuo at least uses the ability haste better.
Does he? I mean, it's just for his wind wall and his ultimate.
Yeah,
and that ultimate has a pretty short cooldown these days, to be honest.
Yes, it is very short.
It's like less than a minute and a half.
Do you know what? This isn't even a philosophical debate, but I don't know. Would you rather a Zeri or a Yasuo with blue buff? I don't know. Is the honest answer.
I don't know if we have a mod in chat. Can we get the poll of Zeri or Yasuo blue? Which one is more useful? Or which one is just more useless, right? It's probably the way to raise it. Blue buff Zeri, blue buff Yasuo.
Okay, who's the most useless it's Yasuo by default. Do you think Yasuo is the most useless, or do you think there's a more useless champion with blue buff?
Yeah, I actually would, in the same vein, put his brother up for discussion, because 2 of his abilities scale with attack speed instead of just 1.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, he might be in trouble here. He doesn't have ultimate. He gets it in time, and he's just chain stunned.
Oh my!
Super big fun falls down, and Bear Tree just about slivers out from that DBL. He was locked down for so long.
How did he? Was he somehow still in XP range? Absolutely absurd. I want to replay just to see how close he was to the creeps, because he was basically underneath his tier 1. That's crazy. But I mean, on the opposite side as well, Lucent, they pick up the dragon. Not only do they pick up the dragon, they're getting all of these plates on the bottom side. They're threatening a dive because Rusty Sniper is temporarily alone. Dandom's here. Here's Buzzy as well.
Oh, they're going to get a whole bunch of damage off. Little Pants has been stunned up for the moment as Buzzy is going to be able to keep Rusty Sniper alive. They actually interrupted the teleport. I didn't see how they did that, so they jump in for the dive. Fuyu finds the kill. Dandom is stuck under the tower, so he will juggle it in. And Little Pants goes down as well. The gold is juggled out between the support and the AD carry. Fuyu gets 2 kills and 2 plates. He's going to be sitting quite happy with that.
Okay, so we're not done. Apparently, Pedri. Well, he got the blue buff, so it's a moral victory at most. But you know how we spoke about champions getting blue buff randomly? I mean, actually, brought up the very specific, example of Car or Ari. Well, Ari now has a blue buff. We'll see how Lucent uses that one in the mid lane. Yeah, not sure how Zeri got that kill. I assume maybe no one touched Little Pants between, that dive ending and finishing. Now, we're going to have a replay, but it's going to be the top side play first, I think, and then we'll have probably the bottom side. So how... Oh, the cannon. Okay, so the reason why DBL is able to actually level up here is because he auto-attacked Super Big Fun, and it dragged the cannon aggro in range for him to level up.
Oh,
that is
my
the
word.
only reason why he leveled up. And because of that cannon, he leveled up, hit 6, and then was able to use the cask. Now, fast forward to the dive, kind of happens because you can see Fuyu stacks up the wave, has it crash, and they just feel like Buzzy just might not be here. He takes a really long time to show up. In the mid lane, it's Kurosh that interrupts this teleport with the charm and the ultimate. The Rusty Sniper's already been chunked out, and they go forward with the execution, which is fairly clean. Dandom is almost always going to give his life once he commits the flash and has those concussive stacks on him without dropping off. Little Pants, I guess, ended up not taking any damage from Buzzy, so the kill actually ends up going over to Rusty Sniper. And what did they catch? Did they catch him on a ward? How did they know he was here?
That was just intuition.
It's just intuition, I guess. Yeah.
They just
knew.
blind knew.
They just knew. Yeah, all right. Really good read from Lucent then. To stop Beartree from cross-mapping. And I mean, to be fair, it's a fairly telegraphed play in the sense of Dandom is making a play on the bottom side of the map. If the enemy jungler isn't here, where is he? Probably top side of the jungle, and they just caught him off. So really well played, but oftentimes you would see that go unpunished in Division 2. So good job from Lucent. Up over 1,000 gold. Another dredge line comes in, but nothing will happen of it for now. What a crazy sequence of plays, as we have another replay queued.
Oh, he was on a ward there.
So he was on a ward here, but once he clears the camp, does he kind of make his pathing obvious? I mean, he obviously doesn't know the ward's here. Yes, so they see him walking down. Kurosh actually initially starts his play roaming to the bottom side of the map, but realizes it's finished. DBL goes to cover, and then from there, they're able to just decipher that he was going towards the blue buff. Maybe actually DBL, the replay ended a little soon, but maybe DBL actually saw him walking into the jungle, and that is probably why. Either way, good punish.
Interesting. Yeah, very good punish. Very good read there from the side of Lucent. You see, sometimes laners do pay attention to the map, Jamada. Harking back to the beginning of the day.
True. I mean, look, I will always say I am of the philosophy, and I don't even feel like it's biased. I actually think it's it's the stronger way to play the game, that laners should play around the jungle. I feel like junglers inherently have the ability to get a lot stronger than most champions that can come from the lane. But to be fair, what's easier? Getting 3 people to understand one role, or getting 1 person to just basically be a lapdog for all 3?
I mean, I'm a LeBlanc player, man, so I'm one of the guys that always rotates. I always rotate for the jungle, right? Because that's kind of... You pick LeBlanc for the 2v2, right? That is one of the things you do for them, so... I'm used to it. I pick it for that.
Sure, that's what you pick it for. I'll take your word for it.
She's a fun champion.
All right, man. Yeah. Now you're talking crazy.
She is. She's a fun champ. Oh no, sorry. She used to be a fun champ, but now she's just sad.
All right. Whilst we have a very brief rest, no, we don't. I think DBL is about to die.
Do you?
Yeah.
He has got flash. He has cask. I think he might be all right.
Yeah. So you've played the Blanc for a really long time. No, this dive is about to probably happen for you, stacking up a wave. And there's no teleports available from London United, so this is going to be a wave denied. What version of the Blanc did you prefer? Did you prefer that reworked one with the delayed Sigil of Malice?
No, I mean, I played that version of it. I did enjoy it. But I was I did rejoice when we got Old LeBlanc back. I thought it was. Do
you know what the worst part?
DBL. I think the worst part of top lane is getting constantly killed by the jungler.
You killed by the jungler, yeah. Because if there's one thing I miss about that version of LeBlanc, it's actually just the fact that she didn't have a passive back then. Like her passive was the
Her
delayed
passive
damage.
was on the ult. It was on the ult.
Yeah, but like, it was something you had to press to have, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah. So I remember, like, you used to send the clone out to like run to bot lane and pretend to gank and stuff like. Do you remember all that? Because it would cast your ability as you casted it. That was kind of like its thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice having lots of wave clear on LeBlanc. That was kind of cool. But like, it didn't feel. She felt very slow and quite clunky compared to like now, where like, you know, you can get quick combos off and quick burst off if you're smart with like the sigils into chain and ping back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I much prefer this version of LeBlanc.
Because it's simple and requires less brain work, is what I'm hearing from you at the moment, Jake.
No,
Anyway,
the old
Herald
one was
is
easier.
going to be dropped to the bomb side. And it seems like only Rusty Sniper and Bear Tree will get the gold for this.
Will
Pretty close to
they?
dying. Yeah, came pretty
That
close
was
to dying.
close.
That was really, really close.
Oh
Won't
no,
drop in.
Jamzu.
Has flash, worst case, yeah.
That's a lot
But
of
losing that is going to feel pretty painful because now they can just replay that play without Karma having flash, and she probably just dies. That's wager, I guess. Fuyu and Lil Pants, though, they've been wailing on this tower for so long, so much support. And Dandom is here yet again, and they're just going to have to give the tower up.
and that's plates as well.
Yeah, be plates and first tower blood for Fuyu. They're even going to let all of the wave die. And that's just really well played from Lucent. They've been stacking up the dragons as well alongside it, really using the pressure of this lane to get a greater objective lead. Yes, they did lose out on the Herald, but I think if they can continue to play towards this third dragon in 3 minutes' time and actually secure it as well, they're going to be sitting really, really pretty for the mid game. And there's a lot of pressure that's going to be on London United's side as well.
Oh,
Oh my
that was a
god,
good cast.
DBL!
It's super big fun is getting absolutely mega bullied here, although might be waiting it out a little bit. Great dodge there with the Hextech ultimatum as DPL's trying to just get himself a little bit more damage out, but he's caught out by the hook shot, slowed down by the Q, the snipe, and in comes Fuyu. Instantly caught out though by the E, and now Fuyu's on his lonesome with Bear Tree, wailing him down, flashes in for the hill, and now they've got the snare. Fuyu does it, he gets another beautiful double kill picked up, but they got the lockdown onto Jamzu, and Fuyu may just look for a W snipe here, getting a little bit more damage off onto the Karma. It's gonna be a triple kill for Fuyu.
Triple, but delayed. And Fuyu just picks up 3 kills, slides in for the first. Second one is just Bear Tree overcommitting for a 1v1, which he feels like he can win. And he just simply doesn't. The third one just handed up on a player. The Karma just lost her flash in the mid lane. And now Fuyu is 5-0. 600 gold bounty. They're not going to quite take the tower just here. Maybe feeling threatened on a potential tower dive. 2,000 gold ahead. He is absolutely massive, man. And that is going to be very, very scary to deal with. Once you start to see Lucent's composition, you know, kind of come to fruition with some of these tower dives, or just like general engages, right? Nautilus, ultimate setting her up, the Gragas as well setting her up. So much CC can come through, and it's just going to allow and enable for you to get in and deal whatever damage he feels like and assassinate those targets.
All right, I'm about to derail this, baby.
All right, let's go.
What remake do you regret the most? Like what
Rengar.
champion? Rengar.
Not
Oh yeah,
even
you've
close.
been very very open about that
Not
one.
even close. I think Rengar was openly the worst rework they had from the assassin changes, and then ever since they changed that old Q back, I think he's just been in a very unhealthy state. I unironically think.
It's fine.
I know he's fine, but it's more like he didn't even use like Q2 and he's just able to deal that much damage. Yes, it's AP Gragas, and no, he's not got tank stats, but it still feels a bit silly to see. Yeah, I think that was objectively the worst rework that they did because they basically. I think the funny thing about it, and I'll be very brief because Dragon spawning in 45 seconds, is the entire point of those reworks, and specifically they said with Rengar, was we wanted to make him less button mashy. But they removed the ferocity stacking, which means that if you're at 0 Pharaoh, what are you going to do to get to like max ferocity? You're just going to mash all your buttons when you're on top of somebody. And then they also kind of removed the skill cap that he had with managing ferocity probably, which I think was a pretty big deal for Rengar's kit. And had pretty easy like things to make it a little more skillful as opposed to just pressing buttons. Anyway, fight's kicking off.
Buttons are being pressed there as Fuyu is dominating. Bear Tree will go down as Kuris jumps in forwards, able to take another kill. And Buzzy has to flash over the wall, way to safety as Dandom looks to chase them up. Rusty Sniper's actually done a lot of damage, but he's instantly hooked and taken down. A triple kill picked up for Fuyu. It's actually a double, but it's technically a triple. Dandom just about slivers out as DBL looking to chase in. Jamzu, he's got a lot of health actually, and I think that's too scary for anybody to chase more.
He's winning on the health battle, and that's all that matters. I mean, Fuyu also went to the mid lane. I think if Fuyu just is in the river, they could do the dragon, which is kind of a big deal. Now, I feel like he thinks that in a 4v1, his team should be capable of winning, and I can't fault him for that. The issue is that he's wrong. And the fact that he wasn't there now means that we're in a bit of an awkward post-teamfight situation where everybody on London United has died and come back to life and will make it back to the dragon. Oh boy.
They're just giving up.
Oh boy. Yeah, they have to.
I mean, Fuyu kind of made a mistake there.
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand the point of view from both sides, right? Because he did pick up the tier 1 in the mid lane. 4v1, how is Carla supposed to, like, no one had HP? I think it's just a communication thing. Someone had to call Fuyu over and have him come and, well, help take the dragon. But he didn't, and now, all of a sudden, Lucent's dragon stacking efforts aren't necessarily in vain, but there's going to be no, early third soul pickup, which means that London United can kind of sit and try their best to scale for the next 10 minutes.
DBL should be able to clear this wave out. It does have to be a little careful, but is able to do so. 3 people about. May have to just kind of give this up. It's just going to try and do his best to chip away at the wave, but super big fun on Bear Tree about. DBL probably recognizing with his whole team bot side, it's time just to give. Yeah, he just wants to get as much damage to the tower as possible. But now he has to run because he's being chased.
He's going to be fine regardless, yeah. So he's out. It's just more that London United were kind of slow to show numbers, so I think that probably gave the game up. Are they going to kill this tower before? No, not quite in time. But they should try and force a second charge here at the very least. And it looks like they're going to get that because London United members are still on the bottom side. Herald will get their charge. Are they going to try and break the base open? I wouldn't blame them. Oh, it's cracked.
Rusty Sniper, though, jumping forward. Dandom has to jump out. Fuyu still has ultimate if he wants to turn. Little Pan's able to dodge away on that Winter's Bite. They do get the slow for the Q and into a hook, into the damage. The shield comes in from Fuyu as Rusty Sniper is able to find himself a kill onto Little Pans. Fuyu being chased down. They get the slow, and now Fuyu's trying to get a little bit more damage out. He's worth so much gold.
1,000
grand in the pocket of Rusty Sniper. Dandom on the run, but maybe Ko's going to flash forward. Misses the charm. Auto blocked out as well. Oh, that is so tragic.
Yeah, I think it's a bit unfortunate. To be fair, Rusty Sniper stepped back at, like, basically the perfect time. I think before he even saw him. I mean, we'd have to have a replay with the vision. But, yeah, great thing for London United to kind of get that shutdown in particular. 1,000 gold into Rusty Sniper. Actually, if I could ask, can we take a look at the gold? How much has that closed the gap? Because it's, without a doubt... It's a third, though, when you think about it, right? If he is now 2,000 gold behind, he just closed 33% of the gold difference between him and Fuyu.
Yeah, to be fair, I'll give you that.
It is, still a pretty monumentous gold lead that Fuyu has for himself. And Lucent have done a great job of, again, enabling Kai'Sa for so much of this game. Lucent, they take the tower, and then they just kind of slowly get run down here. They feel like they can get the turn angle right about here. Problem is, still has flash on Rusty Sniper, and the ultimate comes through from Buzzy as well as the Unbreakable to stop any more return damage. And that Ultra Shock Laser, I believe, even though it didn't extend, that's what slowed him down. That's where the 1,000 gold shutdown comes in. And does he just turn around at an awkward time?
No, they saw him.
He definitely had enough time to react. But that is really, really crazy to think that he had his camera right about there. Because if I was him, maybe my camera control is bad. I'm not sure I would have seen Ari show up. And I probably would have died, but that's why I don't play AD carry.
Do you know, they actually also, because Dandom had to ult out to defensively, that was also why they couldn't. Because if he had ult, and when that hook landed, he could have jumped immediately on Rusty Sniper and just zoned him out. Yeah, it would have been an absolute, it would have been murder. Kind of going back to the rework thing, Simu's got a bit of a respite.
Are you trying to... You know what? Our producer raises a pretty good point, Machine Gun Rise, and you know what? Yeah.
By the way, my champion is wrong. I like what they've done. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. I don't get to talk about it because Kurosh is dead. Shut down. Teleport coming in. DBL will be able to hold the wave though, but that is going to be all she wrote in the top side of the map. As you need to be a little bit careful here. It's going to be okay.
Are so large that now London United don't actually have objective bounties anymore.
Interesting.
Which is a really big deal for them, to be honest with you. Because normally what you actually see happen a lot of the time is team will get like a kind of a comeback fight, and then they're immediately able to capitalize on some objective bounties. But because those shutdowns have brought them so close to goal parry, and I guess did they pick up either Herald? I think both Heralds went to Lucent, right?
Yeah, I think
one
so.
Herald definitely went to London. No, one definitely went to London United.
Oh yeah, they wasted it. Yeah.
So I guess the game is just about calculated that they don't need to be active anymore. Which, I don't know, I've seen objective bounties be on when I feel like they shouldn't be on, and off when they probably should be on. So I will not make a point for either. I'm sure the maths is right, you know, under the hood, but looking at it sometimes it can feel a little bit misleading. As like I said, Fuyu and Little Pants need to be a little bit careful in the mid lane, because it's very easy for London United to just collapse from the top side of the map. But it seems like this Dragon, London United are just going to give it up, because they got that third one, and they just kind of realize, if we try and fight right now, we will probably get murdered. And
Yeah.
to a point, I agree. I think that if they're not able to shut down Fuyu, then things will get hairy pretty quickly. But he didn't have flash, so maybe there was a way. Oh,
this is an
problem-
attempt.
the
They're on
problem
the
with
ward.
this-
Super Big Fun's been
yeah.
seen.
So the problem with this is Super Big Fun's teleport actually reveals that they're probably doing the Baron, because he TP'd onto a control ward. For those that don't know, teleporting onto a control ward actually globally shows on the minimap that teleport is happening, and Lucent just respond now with taking up this tier 2, because I don't think Lucent actually knew that they were on that Baron as soon as they would have had that teleport not come in, which definitely feels a little
they
bit
could have
bad.
snuck that away.
I think they could have snuck that away if Super Become didn't teleport, which feels kind of bad. But it's happened now, and Lucent, for free, pick up that tier 2 in the mid lane, and they can start to play around the Baron if they want, or they can just look to wait until Soul's up.
Yeah, they also have that top lane inhibitor open, so if they can take that, that also gives them pressure for Soul. So Baron actually could potentially be something they want to turn their attention to. You've got Collector, Infinity Edge, Kraken Slayer, and a Zill now onto Fuyu, almost level 15, so closing towards the final point in that ultimate up and available. Rusty Sniper, on the other hand, Kraken Slayer, Phantom Dancer, building towards the IE, but, you know, pretty far behind the curve compared to Fuyu. And Fuyu will absolutely obliterate the Baron if he gets on it. That passive, and obviously with all just the extra damage, it's going to be super hard to actually get there in time if Lucent are given a slight moment to turn to this Baron.
Yeah, I will say Rusty Sniper did just pick up the Infinity Edge himself, so all things considered, he's basically at the same power curve right now, or power spike per se, 3 items, right? So he's strong enough. Now this Baron is going to get melted really quickly. London United are here in the area though, and they are responding.
Fair tree, he can get over if he needs to. 3,000 health, he ults over if he needs to. They instantly turn for Super Big Fun. Ooh. He pops the ultimate and has to run away. Baron stays aggro for just a little bit longer as they get the depth charge off. Back to Baron, back to business. Half health, getting taken down really fast here. Remember, this Kai'Sa does so much damage. They need to save their burst though. There's the cask. Just to send Bear Tree back is a little bit too early. They're locking down in place though. They're going to jump over the wall. Kim CC, he steals it. Bear Tree has stolen the Baron. But no, now the fight is on. Instantly launching into the fray. Kai'Sa's remained untouched. Rusty Sniper though, getting a whole bunch of damage off his Fuyu. Finds himself a double kill. He's on his lonesome though. He doesn't have his ultimate. Jumps in, finds the triple kill. Now the turn from Puzzy. They're going to look for the quadra kill onto him. Jamzu slowed down. The chase remains. It's going to be a quadra kill for Fuyu. BC's going down. Pentakill over to Fuyu.
Fuyu has been a machine this game, and he is rewarded with a pentakill. Him alongside Lucent are going to hopefully try and close out here in what is a must-win game for both of these teams, but they're going to turn around at the final hurdle. Bear Tree has respawned, and they feel like they're not going to be able to get enough from this. But I mean, for London United, it's still a brief respite. They get the Baron. Yes, they all die, but it means it's not in Lucent's back pocket. We're going to have a replay of that because Lucent tried so damn hard to keep him out of the pit. Cask over the wall with DBL, After Little Pants flashes, Qs, body slams, the CC just isn't quite there. Dandom, he was in the middle of Maul Wing it, and it just dies to Bear Tree Smite instead. It's so unfortunate for the Lucent jungler, but so well played by London United's. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking Rusty Sniper, is he going to pop off? Is he going to pop off? He's actually stacked up. He's charged. Body Slam comes in. Fuyu still has flash. Comes over. 1 auto. Boom. Dead. Alongside there, Cathian Rain. Able to chase down onto the rest of the members with all of the CC coming through from Dandom, from DBL. And he gets himself a pentakill.
That was absolutely beautiful there from Fuyu. Finally getting a pentakill this year under our belts, and we're straight back into the action, straight back onto it. As Fuyu is going to be the target, immediately exhausted, and he's actually separated from the rest of his team, but DBL is still there. They're going to try and keep Fuyu up. Fuyu has to put the damage in, but no, he's going to get slowed down by the W, and now he's low HP. The barrel could slow everybody down, but the speed's coming in from Jamzu. They're keeping the chase up, and Rusty Sniper's doing a lot of casting coming down. Fuyu is just waiting. He's waiting for the opportunity to potentially turn this around as Bearchi jumps in forward. Fuyu gets the E off, speeds away for the moment to get a whole bunch of damage off, and Fuyu finds himself another kill. Buzzy's going low. That's going to be one for Kurosh in response to Super Big Fun. Looking for the lockdown. Able to get the kill onto Dandom, and it's now just the mage and the AD carry versus everyone. As Bear Tree is going low. Fuyu finds himself a double kill, but no, they're able to get it down. A triple kill picked up for the Ari. It's Super Big Fun. Can't find the kill. This game is getting so hairy.
What happened, man? It's absolute Armageddon on the Rift. London United find a 4 for 3. No, they lose 4 members. It's a 3 for 4. But the problem is, the Dragon's up. Is Super Big Fun going to try and solve this one? It would be absolute... It would be mayhem. No.
He's going to go for it.
No.
Death charge. He
can't. But Kurosh is starting this, and now Teleport's coming in from DBL. They're just going to use the numbers that they have immediately at the play to try and secure this one away, and they should be able to. Oh my word. The amount of damage Fuyu put out there to immediately remove Rusty Sniper before the rest of the fight can ensue was absolutely crazy.
My word.
He has his on.
I'm the one trying to catch breath here, bro.
I know. Let's look at it. Let's look at it again. So it all starts off because London United have Super Big Fun in the bottom side, and Lucent kind of have control of this quadrant of the jungle. They're trying to find a pick, and the turnaround comes in because the rest of the team members are here. The stasis comes in. Fuyu isn't CC'd, and he's able to slip out onto the bottom side of the fight. And then you can see on the top side, the rest of Lucent are trying to pick onto Rusty Sniper, but they just overcommit, and he's able to just put out so much damage. And Fuyu, on the opposite hand, is actually unable to really get any meaningful damage down onto any of the core members. But the entire time this is going on, this is simply a 4v5, in which DBL eventually gives his life, and Kurosh shows up. But look at the burst damage here onto Rusty Sniper. It is 2 auto attacks, a Cathian Rain, and he just dies. I can't make it up as we're coming out of the replay because there's more fighting.
There is more action. They don't quite get everybody locked down for the moment as Fuyu remains untouched. Super Big Fun has the Guardian Angel as DBL does go down, and they're looking for the charm but not going to be able to find it. London United find themselves a pick, and they lose nobody. This mid lane tower may just go down as Kurosh is way too heavily chunked out. I thought Lucent were going to win after the pentakill, and they just reset, and now this game is slipping away from them.
I am so confused about the last 4 minutes of gameplay from both teams. I'm not sure what's going on. But right now, it looks like London United have managed to wrestle control of the map for now, with back-to-back barely-ish successful question mark team fights, picks, things. Baron's on the cards in about a minute and a bit's time, though, and that's kind of the crucial thing to look at, because if either side secures Baron, I feel like the repercussions of that are very close to game-winning, if not game-winning directly. So, big moment of truth for both sides. I feel like Fuyu has been putting out so much damage. Rusty Sniper, when he isn't, completely pressured out of team fights, is able to also respond in kind. But I also look towards Super Big Fun now, because he is so crucial in being able to try and to shut down this Kai'Sa. Again, the problem lies, she has her Zhonya's in her inventory, right? She's got her ultimate, she has her flash. She's going to be so hard to lock down more times than not, but we really have to track how Lucent do in not only enabling Kai'Sa, but keeping her alive from the Camille. And on London United side, just high-value target selection, right? Ensuring they lock down Fuyu. He is definitely the most important target, but if they can pick off one of the frontliners, stop one of the enablers, that can be just as good.
The wave pressure, or the fight for the wave, is pretty much equal there. Just going to both clear out these waves nice and easy, but Lucent have got the inside track on the mid lane. They are just going to look to pressure up a little bit. This Baron, though, so scary for either team to potentially turn their attention to. Is all going to be about Fuyu and Kurosh, to be fair, as well. Anybody jumps into Fuyu, if Kurosh can find a good charm, that could potentially do it. But Baron's been started up. Dandom, this might be his moment for him to try and save this. He has himself the Stormbringer to jump over that wall and steal away this Baron. And the Blast Cone gets inside the pit. The fight breaks out immediately. Buzzy is going to go down to Kurosh. Dandom is so low. He needs to be able to survive this. He has to ult away to safety. The Baron, 3,000 health, and it looks like it might just be London's to take here, but they aren't going to call it off because no, they're looking for the kill. Jamsy goes down to Fuyu. Beartree's hunting Kurosh, but he still has 2 jumps available. Going to jump in as now they're looking for the kill on Super Big Fun. Is him, but he's so much damage as Beartree has turned it around. It's the carries who have to do all of the work here. They're chasing Fuyu out. He flashes when he flashes out into the Heartstopper, into the damage as Fuyu flashes away. Fuyu finds the kill. Super Big Fun's going to take him down though, and this is another fight for London.
Another fight goes London United's way. What is going on this time? Fuyu eventually gets run down from having to just kind of reposition himself. Are they going to try and end? Are they just running it down mid? Do they just want the tier 2? They don't want to try and flip the Baron without either jungler alive. They have the damage to kill it, though, and that's definitely what I feel like they've just realized. So they're going to go back to it as a duo.
This is so hard.
Will Kurosh be able to interrupt this, though?
EBL's got teleport in 11 seconds as well. We've also now got Little Pants up. This could get really hairy, but it looks like they might actually be giving this up. They know it's going on, but they just can't get there in time now. It's too low. Kurosh does have ultimate, but he can't get close enough. Baron's going to go down, and London United able to pick this one up. The Guardian Angels on both now, the AD carry and the top laner, making life so much harder. And I feel that Beartree's probably building towards one himself. All of this revive's going to cause so many problems for the side of Lucent.
Yeah, no, it's really going to be problematic because they're going to have to try and kill Rusty Sniper once, and then if London United can hold their ground above the GA resurrection animation, he's just going to res and probably reposition almost perfectly. It feels like, oh god. Oh, they're gonna go. They're gonna go.
Flashing in. They're looking for Beartree. He's gonna get himself knocked up, and the rest of the team are chasing him forward. They're able to find a whole damage onto him. What was that burst damage? Where did he go? It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Fuyu's been jumped onto by Super Big Fun. They found themselves an answer, but Rusty Sniper's untouched. Fuyu trying to heal up Kurosh, goes golden, and they get the resurrections coming out. The charm goes white. Super Big Fun might be able to kill him. No, he can't. Now he's gonna be another one. Fuyu taking everybody out. Jamzu can't do anything, but no, DBL flashes in and locks him in place. This should just be the slow bleed out here for the side of London United. Somehow, with their backs to the wall, Lucent are able to hold on to this game. Jamzu, the healing is big, but the wave is bigger. The volley bear can turn the towers off. 35 minutes on the clock, and Lucent pull out the victory of a lifetime as Beartree tries to find some revenge onto Fuyu. But Fuyu just pad the stats, 19 and 3 on the Kaiser.
Oh my word. What a game of League of Legends we have just seen. That was honestly perhaps the most entertaining game I think we've had.
Yeah.
Also 100%. A bit long. Like, if you just look at the last 15 minutes of that game, that was fight after fight after fight after fight and just non-stop action. And it was a battle effectively between Fuyu, Rusty Sniper, and the rest of the players on the Rift. Because, man, I'll say that, and Super Big Fun, because Super Big Fun was such a crucial part of a lot of London United's success there. And being able to try and lock down Fuyu or just a key target and knocking away everybody else, that was absolutely bizarre. But what a neck and neck game by the end of it. It really felt like Lucent were just going to run with it, with Fuyu being so stupidly strong. But Rusty Sniper, time and time again, if he wasn't picked on, he was just able to put out so much damage on the Zerius. Why we see it so commonly as like a B1, as like one of these first rotations. This came in all the way like R4 or something. It went so far in the draft. The answer, of course, was still very strong, but goodness me, London United are going to be kicking themselves for not being able to pick up the win just simply because of how close that game was. But Lucent, 4-8 now, it's a massive win.
Unbelievably tight game there. Probably the most fun game we've had here in Div 2 in a very, very long time. But for now, it's time for us to quickly throw to a break before we actually have our interviews. I need to know what the hell was going on behind the scenes. So we'll see you in a moment.